Okay. Okay, so the class would have just finished a research-based lesson on digestion, and what they've done is they've been assigned a part in their group, and they've all researched it, made a little model of that part. They've stuck it on a student who was out the front, and they've also displayed the data to to their group and to the whole class while someone was on the board writing their notes down. So what I'm doing now is just going to go through a full summary of what everyone's put on the board. So they obviously didn't do every single part, so all of them need to know what the whole system's like, and they're taking notes at the same time. And then after this is just the conclusion of the class and the transition to the next lesson. Okay, so that's recording now. Okay, so does anyone know the whole point of the digestive system? What does it do? Yes.
Digest food.
Yes, digest food. Very good. Is there a little bit more of an elaboration on digesting food, Aaron?
It breaks down.
It breaks down your food,
to give energy to the body.
To give energy to the body. Excellent. Good job, guys. Down food to give energy. I hope that you're all taking notes because we're all really enthusiastic. Yeah,
Yes.
okay, so digestion starts in the mouth, and that breaks down our food into smaller pieces. There are two types of digestion that happen in the mouth. Does anyone know what they are? Yes?
Mechanical and chemical.
Mechanical and chemical. Yeah. So what is a mechanical digestion?
When the teeth
Teeth.
choose the food.
Choose the food. Excellent. And there's one other thing.
Swallowing.
Yes, swallowing is, but that's more in the throat. The tongue, very good. So the tongue helps push the food that you've mashed up and torn apart with your teeth, and that helps it go down the esophagus. And chemical digestion, you know?
It's salivary amylase.
Yeah, that's advanced, but yes, very good research. So the saliva contains an enzyme. Does anyone know what an enzyme is? So enzymes, yes. Proteins, okay, we're going a bit in depth here, guys. So an enzyme is a special chemical, we'll just say special chemical, which speeds up chemical reactions. I'm abbreviating. Okay, so the saliva contains an enzyme called amylase. And did anyone find amylase? Did anyone find out what amylase breaks down?
Sugar.
Sugar. It breaks down carbohydrates to make sugar. So they're carbs. Well, that breaks down carbs. Okay, so then we move to the esophagus. And the esophagus connects the mouth to the stomach. And it transports a bolus, which is what was formed in your mouth. So when your teeth chew all the food and then the saliva is added to it, mixes it into a little ball that's manageable for you to swallow, and it travels the food down to the stomach. But how do you think it gets there? Does it just drop? Does it drop down? Good, yeah. So there's all these rings of muscle that are down your throat, and muscles expand and contract. Through peristalsis. So when some muscles contract, some expand, and it goes all the way down your throat so that it pushes the food along, so it doesn't just fall down there. The muscles take it down. And then we get to the stomach. So the stomach's like a big food blender, mixes all your food around. So if the stomach's expanding and contracting, doing this peristalsis stuff as well, what sort of digestion is that?
Chemical.
Mechanical. So mechanical, because that's physical, right? John? Yeah? Yeah, okay. Just checking that I got it right. So mechanical is physical digestion. So that's the physical contraction of the muscles and stuff. And then the chemical digestion in the stomach is when the stomach wall excretes some, what does it excrete? Oh, the stomach wall has protease, which digests protein. Good girl. And it also has hydrochloric acid in it. And that just gets rid of bad bacteria and makes sure that you're not going to get any of the bugs in your system. So that mixes it all around and makes this soupy, gross slop called chyme, and that's in the stomach. And then they just keep squirting digestive juices in there, and then it moves into the small intestine, which is this big, long, squiggly thing here. But before we go to the small intestine, we'll go to the liver, which is this thing here. And the liver produces bile that neutralises stomach acid and emulsifies fats. Who knows what emulsifies mean? Anyone? Breaks down. Good girl. Emulsifies. So it breaks down fats. Breaks down. So it breaks down fats in the same way. So like if you add dishwashing liquid, to like a greasy fry pan and it pulls apart all the fat in there, that's emulsification. And the reason that we need bile to do that is so it increases the surface area of all the fat that we eat, so that things called lipases, which is another enzyme, lipases, breaks down fat, and that's an enzyme as well. They can go to work, because if it's just one big lump of fat, they can't really access it really easy, so it needs to be emulsified first. The gallbladder is this little thing here. That stores all the bile. And the pancreas produces all three of the enzymes. So what are the three enzymes? What's the first one? Amylase. Second one? Protease. And the last one? Lipase. So that produces all the enzymes that we need and then injects it into the small intestine here, as well as the bile go into the small intestine, and most of the digestion gets done in the small intestine. So we go from the stomach, all the chyme goes into the small intestine. More digestive juices are added from the walls of the small intestine, mixed with all that stuff. Now we're over here. And so the small intestine is where the nutrients from your food are absorbed into the body. So to do that, it needs a really, really large surface area. How do you reckon that they get the larger surface area? The villi, yeah. So all through the walls of the, we'll grab a cross section of this. So all through the walls, so imagine this is looking down the tube of the small intestine. So you've got your muscle around the outside, and that's all sort of like, it's really folded. And then coming into the middle of the small intestine is all these things, and they're called villi. And how do you think they increase, like how do you think they help absorption? So they increase the surface area, so they all like hang out into the soupy stuff, and they abstract all the nutrients and stuff. So this is also really long. Does anyone know how long it is? 6 to 7 metres, good girl. 6 to 7 metres, which is about 22 feet, which is like 22 subways, which is pretty long, really. And then it goes from that. Oh wait, so at the end of the small intestine is the end of digestion. You can't get any more nutrients after that. So all the undigested stuff goes into the large intestine, and then your body reabsorbs the water that's still left in there, and then you're left with feces. So that's all that does, sucks up all the water and sends it back into your body so you can use it more appropriately. And then the anus is where food is egested, so that's like exit. So it's egested. And when you have food, it's ingested. Sound right? Huh?
Exist.
Is that right? Good job. Much better at English than I am. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Good answers, guys. We breezed through it really quickly.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.